Just as I was about to make this video, I got a text from my mom,
Oops.
and she and I have a shared love for going to Disneyland together. We like to go to Disneyland about once a month. She's been going since the moment she was born, basically. She was born in the year that Disneyland opened, and I've been going since I was, tiny little kid too. There's one place that I've never gone in Disneyland. And so she texts me out of nowhere and she's like, I tried for our next 2 dates to get a reservation for the Blue Bayou.
Blue Bayou.
And this is this restaurant. It's inside this ride, the Pirates of the Caribbean. In this ride, the Pirates of the Caribbean, it's completely dark. And so it's like the bayou in New Orleans. And then there's a restaurant that I've seen it my whole life riding this ride and never ever ate there. And so she's like, she's trying to get us a reservation. It's just kind of beautiful because it's a very Mercury and Pisces concept, this place. It's a blend of reality and fantasy. You don't know where are you in New Orleans? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Are you in Anaheim? Are you in a fake place, a real place? It's a little bit of a dream space. So we'll see. Maybe someday we'll get to the Blue Bayou. But anyway, thought that was cute. So here I am talking about Mercury and Pisces. I enjoy Mercury and Pisces very much. And this is good news for you if you also enjoy the Mercury and Pisces jam, the energetic, is it's going to be there twice this year. Mercury moves quickly. It'll be in Pisces for a while and then it'll move out. No big deal, right? A few weeks just does that thing. But this year in 2025, we have a second chance. We have another one coming up. It's going to be going through in a retrograde, Aries, March 14th. And so it'll be going back into Pisces from March 29th until April 16th. So we get this doubling up. Now, what's the big deal about that? Okay, retrogrades are interesting because we go forward, we have these experiences, and that's sort of just like a catalyst. And then when it reverses, it gets reviewing all that. It's like a rewinding the videotape and you're going back. And at that point, it's kind of like the apex or the top moment, the conflict moment of that triangle. And you're like, oh, and it brings questions and revelations, right? And so then when it moves forward, when it stations direct, then there's resolution, there's realization, and moving forward. This is interesting because Mercury in Pisces is double debilitated. What does it mean? It means that it's in exile and it's in detriment by the old dignity scheme. So what does that mean? In Virgo, it's the opposite. It's double exalted and in domicile. It's the only planet that doubles up on its exaltation and its dignity. The thing that's also interesting about that, since it came in on February 14th on Valentine's Day, I wrote a newsletter about it. So if you've read my newsletter, you kind of know that I have a side quest, and that is to understand and write about the tarot. So I'm deeply trying to contemplate all these cards, the images, the ideas, the thoughts, and intuitively respond. So the one I'm looking at right now is the Lovers, and this card is ruled by Mercury. It's a Gemini card. And so every card has astrological components to it, connections. And so the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wow, yeah, Mercury does not get the credit for love. It doesn't at all. But Mercury is about communication. It's about sharing thoughts and ideas. It's those little subtle things of how you pay attention to someone or remember something. And that is what makes a relationship really, really valuable. And in a relationship, there's two people, and then there's that makes a third thing. The relationship is the third thing. So it's also a triangle, it's a triad. And the opposites are part of what, makes things interesting, but the communication and the understanding is the foundation. To look a little bit ahead at that next section where Mercury is going to enter Pisces again, we can preload ourselves with some ideas to really focus on what's going on in these next 3 weeks, to see how our communication is, reflecting on how we are communicating with others, just focusing on what's being said and not overanalyzing things, because that's the Virgo version, the super overanalysis, but speaking with your heart, paying attention to the emotions and not necessarily just the words. So the second thing is embracing some sort of emotional vulnerability. It's easy to do during this transit. Mercury in Pisces opens up a space for that. And so sharing your feelings, whether it's with your friends, your family, your romantic partners, or even your animals, they're good listeners. But communicate honestly and not be too afraid of judgment. That's what's cool. Also, anything that Mercury does really well over in Virgo, it just has this dark side too. The overemphasis on judgment. It's very Mercury in Virgo. So on the other side, it's a release of that. The third thing is to trust your intuition and not overthink things, right? Just let that be. Just let it be. Take a little more time to sit with things that maybe make you uncomfortable, especially when it comes to communication. Try to see through the fog. Try to see through everything to the reality of it. That's just a main theme of 2025 is opening your mind to different concepts, different ways. And it's going to be okay, and this may be part of the processing of it and the release. The retrograde is going to bring us back March 14th to the April 7th. So that's going to be a time to reflect on your past relationships, your past communications, and any unresolved issues, basically. And not to rush it. That's the other thing I like about Mercury and Pisces. It is not rushed. It is not on the same timeline. It's timeless, boundaryless. The downside of Mercury and Pisces is it's not necessarily always clear. More questions can come up than answers, and there can be some fog, some nebulousness. But it's an opportunity to just be in that fog and be like, what is this? What are these layers? Maybe I haven't contemplated how I'm communicating before, and I need to take a step back, or maybe I need to stop talking to this person or that person because it's just not working out for me. And then beyond that is a connection that's beyond words. That is profound during Mercury and Pisces time. Intuitive connections with others. Communication is more about feeling than logic. I hope this was helpful. I always do. I always hope this is helpful, but especially coming from my very strict Mercury and Virgo conjunct Saturn, there's a little my own bias for you. It feels like Mercury and Pisces is just being unbound. It's like being unshackled. It's being released. What's so interesting about astrology to me is that you can get mixed up in the words, right? In the concepts of exaltation and exile. It's just scary kind of word, exile, or detriment and disability and all these things that the planets can get into, like Mercury and Pisces. But it's an opposite version of a maxed out Mercury, which can get annoying, to be honest. It can be over analytical, it can be over judgmental, it can be, all those things. It's just a lot freer. I like you just the way you are. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll talk to you next time.